Jennings County Corn, that's Lone Star with What About Now, and it's now 8:10. Good morning, Jennings County. Welcome into Monday, November 24th, 2025. I'm Joe Ammerman. Great having you with us here this morning, and pleased to have in studio with us North Vernon Mayor Sean Gerken. Good morning.
Good morning, Joe. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Love having you here and getting caught up on what's going on in the city. First off, I didn't make it to Sweet Street. Give me an update. How did it go?
Sweet Street was a little bit of a madhouse. Was well intended as always. Gloriana Robbins did a fantastic job of helping us put that together. I think we made one small mistake in that I used the hours of 5 to 8 for trick or treating, but Sweet Street itself was from 5:30 to 7:30, and so. There was a little confusion there. People started showing up before 5 for Sweet Street, and so the line was getting a little anxious and angry looking at me when we hadn't opened the door. So we started a little early, but it went well. I'd hate to guess how many people went through the line. I ran out of candy around 8:15, and so the line was still there. So it was real well attended, and I think it's convenient. It's certainly different than the way we did it, back when you and I were kids and
Right.
hitting the neighborhoods. But from a convenience standpoint, it makes a lot of sense for parents. Excuse me. And then, we followed that up as we're coming into the Thanksgiving week now, which is hard to believe. We had our second annual Veterans Day breakfast, the Friday before Veterans Day, and that was really well attended too. And had a Girl Scouts show up and hand out thank you cards and help with the Pledge of Allegiance and help the veterans get their plates if they needed help. And I always get a kick out of talking to those old timers, if you will. They got great stories to tell, so it's an enjoyable day for me as well.
That's great. I'm glad you do that for the veterans. I guess the next big event then is Christmas.
Christmas in the city, so that's December 5th and 6th. Needed to look over for a little help for that date, so the Friday and Saturday of the first weekend of December. Again, looking forward to a nice weekend. There'll be a lot going on downtown, a lot at the Park Theater. Please note the different change of route now. The parade will start on the south end of Jennings Street now, as opposed to over by the post office. Did that to try to eliminate crossing the tracks an additional time, so you'll just have to cross the railroad tracks towards the end of the parade. So encourage everybody to make sure they know the new route, and we look forward to a well-attended event again. Hopefully the weather holds up.
Yeah.
That's always the key.
It's actually even a little bit before my time, but I know the high school homecoming parade used to come down that street.
Okay.
When the high school was
High school
there.
would have been down there at the end of the street,
Yeah,
sure.
I'm pretty sure I'm right on that. All right, so Christmas in the city. What else has been going on? I know there's been some things added at the city park.
A lot has been added to the park over the last few years. The latest, we had a ribbon cutting, if you will, or a grand opening of the batting cages there. So there's a 4-stall batting cage there, welcome for anyone to use at any time. The funny part is during the grand opening, if you will, my park director Bobby Willis, they decided it'd be best if I hit first. So he was pitching to me. Brought an old wooden bat, and after a couple of decent swings, he kind of came high and tight on me and snapped a bat in two. So I can still swing hard enough to break a wooden bat, but the sharp end almost impaled my park director. So anyway, it's a nice asset, especially when we're hosting all the travel tournaments, and it gives the kids a safe place to warm up before their games. And again, really look forward to looking out there and just seeing moms and dads throw it to their kids, and so hopefully it's well used too.
Yeah. Well, speaking of parks, I don't know if I've talked to you since the opening of the Quarry Park, but that's really cool.
Thank you. And the ironic part of that overlook is it really was kind of the last minute project for that thing. So off of 5th Street, we were planning and still plan to have open, hopefully by the fall of 26, the RV park and a literal one-of-a-kind, one-in-the-world playground. It's going to be phenomenal. I'm really looking forward to that. So we're planning for those amenities down off of 5th Street, and then we knew we were going to use the old trail to add some bike and pedestrian trails to our park and rec system. I don't particularly like to walk 5 and 6 miles at a time, and so when we were back here planning, we were taking Ranger rides and Jeep rides and things back to the aquarium. We got back and we're like, this is amazing back here, and it's beautiful. And what about people like me who doesn't want to walk so far? Let's put an overlook up off of 4th Street. And so That was kind of an afterthought, and now to see the reaction and what people are saying about that it's been a real pleasure, right? I mean, it's just not often do we do a project where there's not some sort of complaining, but the things we're hearing about the Overlook and the amount of people using them and the amount of people that we've seen out of town come to use them, it's been a real nice project and proud of it.
All right. I know the city works closely with North Vernon Main Street. They had a big announcement here recently.
They did. Preserving Indiana Main Street. You know, Autumn, who's been fantastic, she came to me about the possibility of applying for that grant. And we were a little late to the game. By the time we started talking about it, the deadline was approaching. We knew other main streets had been kind of working on the application for a while. And so it seemed like a little bit of a long shot. But, we had a group put our heads together and come up with an application. Then did a presentation, excuse me, for the folks at Okra, and then they did an announcement that we'd made the final two. And so again, then your competitive juices kind of kick in. You're like, well, wait a minute, we got a real shot at this. And so it came down between us and the town of Pendleton. And again, we received the $2 million award, the only one in the state, and look forward to using that money to leverage additional dollars to help with some buildings downtown. I mean, I think we have seen a real revitalization of our downtown, and I think we got a long way to go, but certainly grants like this will help us get there a little faster.
That's very cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, I know cities and towns are kind of subject to decisions made at the state level. So tell me about where we stand with funding from the state.
So that's the bad news.
Okay.
We've talked about some good news. Here's the bad news. So Governor Braun, of course, presented that Senate Bill 1, his tax plan. And on the surface called for tax cuts, if you will, and I think a lot of our senators and representatives heard, well, tax cuts, who wouldn't want that, and kind of voted, maybe without completely understanding the damage that it could have to cities and towns. I did hear a stat that 70% of Hoosiers live in incorporated communities of cities and towns. 70% of our representatives do not, and so maybe there's a disconnect sometimes. Yeah, it is. And so they more of them live out in the county where we live in cities and towns. We as Hoosiers, and I tell those numbers because I consider Representative Zimmerman a friend of mine, and him and I have had some back and forth on this topic. And I'd like to think he's coming around to my side. I don't know if he would tell you that publicly. So we hope to get an amendment. But anyway, AIM, which stands for Accelerate Indiana Municipalities, is the nonprofit that works with cities and towns and mayors and elected officials across the state. A great organization. They've had their financial people start to put numbers into how this new bill will affect cities and towns. And in their studies, the city and or town in the state of Indiana who will be most negatively impacted by this new bill is the city of North Vernon. And that's scary to me. I mean, a lot of the things that you and I just talked about, I think the biggest damage isn't necessarily from the property tax side, but how your local income tax is figured. And our local income tax is a big part of our public safety. And I don't think the first thing that we would do, if forced to, would be to go cut police and fire. But the things we would have to cut are the Main Street live shows, our fireworks shows, our quarry projects, our park and rec facilities, and things like that. And those, are, in my opinion, are the things that make people want to live in any city or town, North Vernon included. And so I feel like we've made a lot of progress in quality of life and quality of place in the city of North Vernon over the last 4 or 5 years with some of the things that the City Council and Redevelopment Commission has done. And so it would just be a shame, excuse me, if there isn't some sort of amendment to this bill. And I'm encouraged that there will be. AIM and myself, mayors across the state, Democrat and Republican both, none of us are very thrilled with the new tax law. So we're all on the same team and pushing our senators and representatives. And I think the results have been encouraging. Certainly have them thinking that, yes, this isn't going to work, and maybe they voted on something that is impacting cities and towns more than they anticipated. Mm-hmm. And so look forward to an amendment so we can keep doing, again, I use the phrase quality of life and quality of place a lot, but I do think it's important. I've told you before, what drives me to want to come to work every day is what can I do to make it more likely that my kids and grandkids want to stay in North Vernon? And I think some of these projects that we've been doing and some of the fun things are important. And I've long said you can't save yourself into prosperity, if you will, right? I mean, it takes money for these sort of projects, but they're the sort of projects that make people want to stay.
Yeah. Well, I'm just encouraged that you're having a civil conversation with state legislators.
Absolutely. Alex and I are like this.
All right, very good. Well, Mayor, I appreciate you coming in this morning, bring us up to date, and
My pleasure. Maybe we'll stop by after the first of the year and we'll talk how Christmas went. And again, the planning stages of the remainder of the quarry are now finished, and the project will be getting started soon. About the same time we received the $2 million for Indiana Preserving Main Street, we received a $4 million grant for some trails. So we're in the design plan right now of trying to do a walking pedestrian trail that will have a better connectivity between Tripton Park and then to downtown Stellar Plaza, and then from there out to our city park, and would ultimately like to get from there to our county library. And then along the way, we'll have some paths that veer off of that path to have a safer access to both the Muscatatuck Trail and the new quarry playground. So lots of places to walk and bike in the near future.
love it.
Yep, we'll
All
keep
right.
you up to date. Appreciate the time.
All right, thank you, sir.
Yep.
Mayor Sean Gerken